polished answer is no longer enough. A clean assignment is no longer proof. A perfect looking response does not automatically mean real understanding. Because in the age of AI, almost anyone can produce something that sounds smart. The real question is no longer, can you submit an answer? The real question is this: when the screen is gone, when the prompt is gone, when nothing is helping you shape your thoughts, can you still think? That is why oral exams are coming back. Not because education wants to go backward, but because it is trying to protect something you cannot afford to lose. Can you explain your answer in your own words? Can you defend it when someone pushes back? Can you think through a new question live without freezing or hiding behind polished output? That is the proof that matters more now. Because once AI can help you write, summarize, rephrase, and organize, what matters most is no longer what appears on the page. What matters is whether the mind behind it is still awake. Professors are starting to ask students to speak, to explain, to defend, to respond in real time. Why? Because a student may submit something impressive on paper and then struggle the moment a live follow-up question begins. That gap matters. It reveals the difference between polished output and real understanding. This is not about nostalgia. It is not about dragging education into the past. It is about protecting your thinking power. Because if education stops demanding live reasoning, it may start rewarding polished output more than genuine understanding. And if that happens long enough, people may still look capable on the outside while growing weaker on the inside. A perfect paper can now be assisted. A summary can be assisted. Reflection can be assisted. Even a perfect explanation can be assisted. But one thing is still harder to fake: your live mind at work. The moment someone asks, "Why did you say that?" What is weak in your argument? What changes if the situation changes? Then the truth starts to surface. That is where the real understanding shows itself. Not in polished wording or in memorized lines or in borrowed structure, but in how you respond when the next question is not predictable. Can you stay calm? Can you connect ideas? Can you adjust your reasoning? Can you admit uncertainty and still think clearly? That is the kind of strength no shortcut can build for you. AI is not the real enemy here. It is dependence on it without thinking. The danger is what happens when you let it do too much of your thinking for too long. When it starts summarizing for you, framing for you, drafting for you, explaining for you, and slowly even thinking ahead for you, you may still feel productive, but you may also be using your own mind less and less. That is where the real risk begins. Your mind works like strength. If you stop using it deeply, it does not stay sharp by accident. If you keep outsourcing explanation, reflection, structure, judgment, one day you may notice something uncomfortable. You can still generate answers, but you are no longer as strong at owning them. That is why this matters. Because convenience becomes weakness when you never push back against it. An oral exam does something powerful. It forces knowledge to come alive. You cannot just present the final product. You have to reveal the process. You have to show how you think, how you connect, how you respond. And that is much closer to real life. Life will not always give you time to polish. It will not always let you hide behind preparation. Sometimes you will have to think while the moment is unfolding. That is the skill that matters. Can you respond when someone challenges you? Can you connect what you know to what is happening now? Can you adapt when the situation changes? Can you speak clearly without a script doing the work for you? Because that is not just an academic skill. It is a life skill, a professional skill, a leadership skill. And in the age of AI, it may become one of the most valuable skills you might have. That skill matters far beyond college. This should not stay inside universities. It belongs everywhere. It belongs in schools, where children should be asked not just to finish the work but to explain what they understood. It belongs in homes, where parents should ask more than, "Did you do it?" They should also ask, "Can you walk me through it? What do you think it means? Why do you believe that?" Because if you want stronger minds, you have to create movements where thinking happens out loud. This belongs in interviews too. A resume can be polished, cover letter can be polished, portfolio can be polished. But can you explain your decisions? Can you defend your judgment? Can you think clearly when someone asks the unexpected? The same is true for promotions. The same is true for leadership. Because as AI becomes more involved in writing, presenting, and organizing, the real difference will not just be what you produce. It will be whether you can still think independently when it counts. That is the real message. The future will not belong to people who only know how to produce polished output. It will belong to people who can still think clearly when no one is helping them. People who can still reason when there is no template. People who can still speak with depth when there is no prompt. People who can still make sense of complexity when there is no script. That is the kind of intelligence the world will trust. And that is the kind of intelligence you need to protect. In the age of AI, your greatest proof is still your mind. So no, this is not just about oral exams. It is about whether you will keep training your mind or slowly hand more and more of it away. It is about whether assistance remains a tool or becomes a substitute for your own thinking. Because in the end, the greatest proof of intelligence may no longer be what you submit. It may be what you can explain, defend, and think through when it is just you and your mind. This is Kaizen Smarter, where your mind still matters in the AI-dominated world. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Kaizen Smarter.